everyone, this is Corey Cat, and we're here on the channel with Planet Coaster. This is a little bit of a break from the usual Sims 4 custom content, kind of hauls and stuff like that. I haven't posted in a while actually because I've kind of just been a little bit busy, but recently I attended the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, and I'm a big old Swiftie, so you know I had a great time. One thing that came out of that was I was really inspired to play Planet Coaster again and kind of take the feeling of being at the Eras Tour and replicate that in a way that you could attend virtually in a theme park. So this is my little like brainchild of what could be if we had a Taylor Swift theme park, much like we have like Dollywood, which is Dolly Parton's kind of theme park that's all themed with her stuff. So when I was at Eras, one of the things I really loved was seeing the energy, and I wanted to replicate that with a lot of bright colors. In this, the main kind of entrance area, this is going to be a really big part of bringing in that kind of excitement. So I want to do a clock tower right in the front to kind of bring in that midnight's kind of her obsession with different times. I did change this up a little bit, so you're going to see some stuff go on and then be taken off. One thing that changes is the color of the roof. I did this yellow because I wanted that bright color, but then I realized that a dark blue looked much nicer with the gold accents. So that changes. Just kind of doing some tidying up. One thing about playing Planet Coaster is building takes a really long time if you're trying to do detailed stuff. So I have about 9 hours of footage right now just from the main entrance, the Plaza Park pond, and then also the first ride in the park, which is a Ferris wheel. I'm really excited about it because the park is going to be divided into 10 different sections and they're all kind of named and themed accordingly. The first section, when you get out of the entrance plaza, is going to be Midnights. So Midnights is going to be the main pond plaza. There's going to be some smaller rides, but no big coasters. It's going to be more of kind of that welcoming area, much like how Midnights in a way is a very welcoming album if you're just learning about Taylor Swift, which I don't think it's possible for anybody to be just learning about Taylor Swift now unless you're like 5 years old. But still, it's a really nice album, and I think it really fit with that kind of introduction into the rest of them. And then from there, there's going to be 9 different sections with each album, and each album is going to be fully themed with roller coasters and rides. I have some dark rides planned, especially for like Evermore has a dark ride themed off of Willow. That's a really exciting one. It's one of the first ideas I had when I started building this park. Right now, I'm just putting in some bathrooms. I'm going for realism on a realistic standpoint, as in what I think I can accomplish. One of those things is having a bathroom entrance from both inside and outside the park, but not connecting them because we don't want people to go through without going through the ticket booth. I am going to try for that realism factor, but I am not the greatest at researching without getting bored. So some stuff I'm going to just kind of go with the vibe on it. And some stuff I'm going to try to be really realistic for. So it's just going to be more of a fun park. There are going to be really heavy details in this. I'm doing custom posters, I'm doing custom ride signs, I'm doing custom cues for everything. Even the flat rides are going to be themed. One of the first part rides is the Ferris wheel, and the Ferris wheel is called the Karma Wheel, and it's actually really fun to kind of look at a music video or look at a song and try to figure out how to get that general song's vibe into the ride that you're trying to build. I had a lot of fun with that. There's a video of it up on my TikTok if you've seen those, but I will be putting the speed build on here as well as soon as it's all edited together. There's going to be a monorail system that runs through the park as well. That's going to go from each era, and then each album, like each era's album, is going to be the title of the station. So when you first come into the park, the first station you'll run into is the Midnight Station, and it's going to be purple. I'm trying to keep the colors kind of not monochrome because, as we all know, they kind of do have their specific color, but I want to try to get like 2 or 3 complementary colors for each era. So for Midnights, we're going to have the purples, but we're also going to have some maroon colors and also some blacks and maybe even some blues. So it's going to be a nice, very kind of color scheme, so that way it doesn't get too much. I did do all the landscaping in the front and then deleted it all because I swear to God, Taylor Swift came to me in a dream and told me that I needed to make sure that the landscaping for the front entrance was colored as the different albums, which I thought was super cool. So I'm super happy I did that. You'll see right now I'm going and I'm putting in the Taylor Swift and then it goes through all of them. So super excited about that. I tried to not take too long on the landscaping because I know I can go out a little bit too much, but I think it really does make a park come to life. So as you see, like, it just fills in those empty spaces. One thing you don't see in theme parks is empty space. Usually they try to use up as much as they can. Of course, this park is in phase 1 of construction and it is a new park, so I don't want to make it look like it's too aged right now. It should be pretty new. It should be pretty realistic that they have space to grow. One thing I'm going to try to do as well is I'm going to try to build the park in phases. So I'm going to try to start with the Evermore area and then work my way around and try to keep it pretty evenly distributed so that each era kind of gets a little bit instead of just focusing on one era for 70 videos and then moving on to the next. So eras will have different phases for different parks. So for the Evermore Park, the first phase should be the Willow Dark ride, and then maybe a restaurant, and maybe another flat ride, and then so on, where I'll go through all the different eras and kind of build out their entrances and at least one main ride, so that way they all have something, so we can keep going on it. For the monorail, I do not think I'm going to see how far apart the actual eras are. I'm going to actually go in there with the terrain marking tool and kind of paint out where the different eras will be. Right here is where I noticed that the roof got deleted, so I had to go back in and I saved this as a blueprint, and then I basically went back in and just replaced it, but I accidentally deleted the whole building. I don't know how I did it without noticing. At this point I was playing for hours just sitting on this computer, so changed all the roof colors. Those looked really nice. I had a lot of like struggle with these signs. If you noticed earlier in the video, I did have some up that were a little bit smaller than this, but they also didn't light up and I wanted it to light up. So here I am just kind of fixing that, putting in some larger signs from the workshop on Steam. If you don't play Planet Coaster, Steam's workshop is really awesome because you can get some custom content on there that's going to look a lot better, make your park seem a lot more realistic. So I did the Eras Universe welcome. Now I'm going to be working on this part. I will say that I really struggled with the banners on this for a good minute because I've played Planet Coaster before, but it has been a while. The last time I played it, I did make a park that had custom posters, but I forgot how to orient them vertically. So when you're playing Planet Coaster, if you're going to be doing billboards like this where you want them to be standing straight up, you actually want to flip your images on their side because then you can just rotate the whole poster. So these are some lit poster boards and I'm just putting arrows on there. I'm also doing some little supports. Like I said, I'm trying to go for realism, but I'm not going to go over the top. So that was a pretty easy thing to add in. It makes it look really good. Did a little bit of a frame around it as well, just so it kind of looked a little bit more permanent instead of just like a tarp in the wind. So you see that I changed the color on the arrow sign. I wanted to be a little bit different, you know, change to make it look good. Put some lighting on the banner in the front, you know, with Taylor singing her heart out. Here's where I was talking about those custom banners. Just rotate them around, make sure they fit. I'm going to have a few ones in different areas. The main plaza is going to be Midnight's theme, so they're going to have Midnight's banners. This is the main entrance, so I kind of modge-podged all of them together. Just figured you're going to be walking in to see Taylor Swift's eras. You should see them all right in the front entrance. But yeah, each era is going to have different posters that are specific for that era. Here I'm just throwing some lighting in. For lighting with Planet Coaster, I'm the kind of person that I don't like a lot of it. I like the park to be pretty dark because I want those lighting effects that I'm going to be working on to be really prominent. I'm just doing a little bit more landscaping, kind of cleaning it up, making sure that it looks really nice from this aspect of when we do our walk around, I want it to not look like it's just plopped in the middle of the field. Here's guest services on the inside. Guest services, here it's kind of just like a little place, like when you first walk in. There's going to be more of a main building towards the back, maybe more by the Lover area, because there will be a resort over there. So I think it would be important to have that. I'm also doing the little trick where you take the archer, because he's the size of the guest, and making some security boots from scratch. If you didn't know that, the Planet Coaster, the people do not have collision with the objects, so you have to kind of make sure that they are not going to hit their heads or anything, because it'll just clip right through. So I'm doing some security booths, again, wanting to capture the magic of the Eras concert, even with the security, and it's something that you would see in a theme park nowadays. So just doing some custom little like baggage kind of scanners, again, not super detailed, just enough to give you the idea, you know. Some little walkthrough ones as well, and then I'm gonna take the so I'm taking that and then I'm gonna scoot them over, kind of make it on each one. again, making them into a blueprint so that way I don't have to constantly rebuild the same thing, which is a really nice factor. Taking those little guards, the guests do have collision with these, so they won't walk through them, and just making sure that they are kind of forced to walk through the person scanners. And then just putting some, these are some prop guys, so they do have sticks like right up themselves, if you know what I mean. Obviously, I can't really avoid that, so they looked enough like security. Here's the walkthrough. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know if you have any questions or ideas. Again, I'm also on TikTok, so I'm going to link that in the description, and hopefully we'll have fun with this.